Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of SJGames Live. I'm Hunter,
And I'm Jimmy.
and we're having a kind of a special episode today. Normally we do like unboxings or playthroughs, stuff like that, but we recently lost a really important member of our SJGames family, our team here, Andrew Hackard. You may have seen some of our social media posts about it over the weekend, but the end of last week, unfortunately, Andrew passed away. And he's been one of the longest mainstays at SJGames here, especially during the 2000s. We're all really good friends with him, and it didn't feel right to just like do some random unboxing or something like that. I really want to take a moment to kind of like reflect on the stuff Andrew has done, some of our memories and stuff with him, and show some clips of him, just to kind of get across how important he was not only to us but like to the games that you guys might be playing and might be fans of.
Yeah, kind of let you know like exactly how much he was doing, even when you weren't seeing him at conventions and stuff.
Exactly. I know some people out there. We've shared those posts over the weekend and got lots of great, heartwarming comments about people's favorite Munchkin games. We'd love to see that in the comments on these videos. If you have any memories of your favorite Munchkin game, or if you got to meet Andrew, he is one of our convention guys. He'd been at a lot of conventions in the past, so you may have gotten a chance to meet him, or if you came to Nordcon or something along those lines.
Or which card pun made you groan the most?
Or which card pun made you groan the most? Yeah, which Munchkin pun did it to you? Because yeah, that's honestly what kind of my favorite memory is. We haven't been in the office obviously all year, which actually has made this a lot tougher for us because it's we only got to see Andrew like sporadically over the past year, and we kind of knew the trouble, the pain he was going through and stuff like that. So um, it's been kind of tough to process everything and not being able to see your friend. And but before that, it was having him in the office was a lot of fun. Groan inducing at times with the puns coming to that'll be what I remember the most. Is just because I mean Jimmy's
the drive-by puns.
yeah, the drive-by punch. Jimmy's office was pretty much right across from where my desk was in the marketing area.
Yeah.
So I think he got a first seat to front row seat to everyone every time he came by and would shoot puns at us.
He'd stop by, just say a card name, wait to see how many heads at desks, and then that would be like
The metric.
metric of does it fit past the bar to get in the game or not.
Yeah, I remember most specifically. I think Moop's Monster Mashup was one of the worst ones about that because every if you've ever played Moops, it is a Munchkin game. It didn't have the Munchkin moniker for some reason, but we had a lot of mashups of different creatures in it. So he just got to go wild with like it would be like a monster and another type of monster thrown together, or like an animal and another animal thrown together, like Clampire was like a vampire clam and stuff like that.
Yeah, we occasionally joked that it was the Munchkin Dad Pun edition.
Yes, yes, that's what. You're right. That's what. And he was just like what we. So if you've ever seen like us describe him on like Daily Illuminators blog posts, social media, he's always called Munchkin Czar, and I feel like that maybe is. And I get questions about it, like, what is a Munchkin Czar? Why do you call him Munchkin Czar? What does he do for Munchkin? And like, it's hard to. The reason that he's called the Munchkin Czar is because he did everything for Munchkin. Like, Steve designed the game, but Andrew's been there since almost day one, doing a lot of work on Munchkin, and for the past 15 years, essentially, has been doing like set design. He's written the cards. He's play tested the games. Yeah. He's done the jokes.
The czar is kind of a combination of line editor, who's responsible for kind of like managing the kind of project manager managing the project going forward, and kind of like brand representative, and
he's managing the brand. He's doing the marketing stuff for it. He's helping out with play test, design, development.
Yeah, so it's sort of like all encompassing, many hat position.
I wish we could have explained that better beforehand, but obviously, but I want people to understand how important Andrew is. Like, if you've played a Munchkin game, like, and I want to say that, like, period. If you've played a Munchkin game, you've played something that Andrew has had his hand on. That's like just every single Munchkin product I can think of. Andrew's done something with it, if not wholly designed it from the ground up. So like he is Munchkin, but he isn't just Munchkin. He's done a lot of stuff. He worked as an editor. His nickname on social media was Red Pin of Doom. He was an editor, not just for Munchkin, but he worked on a lot of the RPG stuff that we've done. Yeah. He's edited for Will Wheaton. He's edited for other people, their books and things like that.
Yeah. Does a lot of because his background before this was he was teaching.
Yes.
Latin, I believe.
Yes.
Which if we needed something translated, he was also the person to go to in the office for
Our Latin editions of Munchkin, we're Munchkin Dead Languages coming soon.
But yeah, he could pop stuff out. He'd check off no, that's the wrong tense for that thing.
Yeah.
In the art on the background of the whatever. Oh, we just lifted that from something else. Well, that was wrong.
Yeah. So like, I just want to let people know, like, he was super important, not just to Munchkin, but also to us. I mean, he was important. He was, like I said, we're a family here for the most part. Like, we're all pretty close. It's a small office, you know. It's even working at home, it's still a pretty small office. We're you know, you learn to work with everyone, and you kind of get to know everybody because of that. And Andrew is just one of my favorite dudes to work with ever, honestly. I remember the first day I got hired, first week I was here. I think it might have been the first day though, and he pulled me aside. This was way back, first time I got hired back in like 2016. And we had a big long conversation about Munchkin because he kind of knew my background and stuff with reviewing games and Munchkin itself. And was really super supportive and all that when I first came on board. He was super welcoming, super supportive, and it was really cool. Like, knowing because I'd only met him before that locally from like demos and stuff like that.
Game shops and stuff.
Yeah, we didn't really know each other, so it was really neat to kind of just immediately get a you know, not just like a welcome, but we actually had a really long conversation about, you know, Munchkin and the future of Munchkin, and, you know, the marketing of Munchkin and where he was aiming. And it was cool because it was from that 2016 meeting, my very first like day or first week there, all that stuff kind of came to fruition over the next 5 years. And that was really cool. Yeah, and it really sucks. Like, this isn't fair for anybody. We understand it, and we'll say it now, I guess, to get out of the way. Cancer does suck. It's not, you know, we don't have a particular charity or anything like that right now. But Andrew's family is putting together his own all that stuff right now. So if we find out anything from that side, we will let you know. And if we can organize something from this side, we're kind of like letting the family lead at this point. But, you know, there may be something charitable or something like that we can do in the future for this too as well. I'd love to do that. Because it really sucks, especially the timing with COVID and everything like that. I really wish I gotten to see him a lot more.
That was, I think, part of the worst of it is not being able to see him much over the last year.
Yeah, I think that's what's hitting harder right now. But we do have some clips here I wanted to show off, because he hasn't done a ton of videos with us, and he's done a lot of like walkthrough type stuff. But just, you know, hearing him talk, hearing him hang out, it's cool seeing that stuff. And I thought we'd share a couple clips occasionally, you know, just throughout the video here as we talked about Andrew and his life and works and whatnot. Let's show the one for Nordcon. So we do have Nordcon. We had real life Nordcons before the pandemic. Obviously, the last few have been digital. We are going to start going back to doing some in-person ones again. So he didn't get to do another in-person one, but he has done all the Nordcons that we've ever done so far. So this is an interview with Kat, I believe.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on. And I wish I could talk about more news, but
well, there's only so much you can say, and I understand
really
that.
is,
I really understand that. My last question is just like, what was your favorite thing that you did at Nordcon?
Favorite thing was getting to play these games with fans. I mean, we had a lot of local fans, obviously, so people I had already known, seen from playtests. Some of them are in my game group.
Right.
But we had a lot of people. I think the farthest was from New York.
Oh, wow.
And folks coming in and having a great time and playing games and getting to see our unpublished games, the Car Wars stuff. I saw you talking to Randy earlier.
The Car Wars stuff was
those
so
tables
good.
were full all weekend.
The entire weekend. Like, there was not a free seat at those tables.
And Fantasy Trip was busy the whole time.
Oh, absolutely.
Dungeon Fantasy with Doug Cole here. I don't know if you got to talk to Doug at all, but he got to run a bunch of events, plus one of our local men in black, Kyle Norton. And those Dungeon Fantasy tables were full the whole weekend as well.
Well, didn't they do like a 13-person Dungeon Fantasy?
They did at one point.
Yeah, and then a 9-person ogre game, I think, right?
I think it was 8 or 9 people.
Yeah.
All Steve versus everyone. I think
it was crazy. Oh my gosh.
Steve only lost 2 of those games, which I think is actually above his average.
Is it?
So, yeah.
That's fantastic, and a bunch of the really cool stuff that you can check out at Nordcon, hopefully next year. Hopefully.
I would vote yes.
Right?
I mean,
it was such a success this year. Like,
we all had a great time.
Yeah, everything went really well, and it was a smaller convention, but those are almost sometimes better in the fact that, like, you get to sit down and like people can actually sit down and play with you and
Absolutely,
talk to you and
yeah.
like come up to you and be like, hey, I really like this, or just
And we had, even when I wasn't in a game, I could circulate, I could talk with people.
Right. So that's almost nicer going to those sort of conventions, right off the bat, and you get a little bit more one-on-one time with people.
Sure.
And stuff,
I mean, at a Gen Con, we have a decent sized booth, but it's packed all the time, and
it's hard to get an ear from anybody. It's just like, hurry up, come in, play our games, and then, oh my gosh, get out. We have to have other people play our games because it's so busy.
Sure. So next year, I will guarantee sunny weather the whole week. I can't.
No.
But
that would be nice, though.
it would be nice if I could, but it is, I don't know if we'll be in the same location or not, but this was very convenient to a bunch of hotels.
Yes.
Also very convenient to the office, which helps us.
Yes.
And, maybe we'll go to a hotel nearby that has some more convention space. We'll see.
All right. Well, thank you again for joining me.
Glory Hound, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, so that was a little interview from, I believe that was 2019.
I think that was the first Nordcon.
Yeah, that was, I wasn't actually there for that one, but that was cool. Technically I was there. I was on a video that y'all showed.
That's true. We made sure you were there.
I got a lot of pictures of that, but that was with Kat. Obviously, Kat also really cool too, but he was big into cons. Like, he was always, like, getting games in at conventions and stuff like that, so I think Nordcon was a pretty fun experience for him overall.
Yeah. No, he did a lot of, like, he went to a lot of shows. He was, because he was the Munchkin Czar, the head of Munchkin, he went as a guest to a lot of shows, so just like Steve and Phil do. So he got to see, like, I heard people who we met him at PAX Australia, we met him here. At Gen Con, he was there just about every year.
Yeah.
And he, one of the things he did at Gen Con is he had a friend in the gaming industry who was also at Gen Con every year. And, every Sunday of Gen Con, he set aside like a 2-hour block.
I was actually going to bring that up. Matt Forbeck, he's an author who's done a lot of work. He's done work with us. He did like Auto Dual Tales and a lot of other stuff. He's done a ton of work in the video game industry and the board game industry, tabletop, writing novels and writing rules and stuff like that. And super accomplished author, and he would always set aside that 2-hour block.
2-hour block for Matt and his kids to play Munchkin with Andrew.
And this is like Matt and his quadruplets.
Yeah.
he has a very particular.
It was a full table.
It was definitely a full table.
But every Sunday at Gen Con, there was a reserved table in the demo area that was just Andrew and the Forbecks playing Munchkin.
And it was great. It was a tradition. Like they played that for a long time.
Yeah, since the kids were little, and now
they're
like
in college. I think they're in college now. Yeah. I think they all just went to college
for many years.
Matt's paying expensive tuition, but no. That's the kind of stuff that I really appreciated about Andrew. He would take the time out to kind of hang out and talk to people and listen to them. Like, we can't take Munchkin suggestions, we can't take suggestion sets, but he loved hearing people's Munchkin experience. We're actually loving these comments, guys. Thank you. Keep them coming. There's so many people with like memories of seeing him at a convention or just meeting him and or working with him even, and it's really cool to see. Like he had a lot of really cool projects, especially just in the past few years that we've gotten to talk, or I personally got to talk to him a lot, that I think were kind of like watershed projects they got to work on for him. Like Munchkin Shakespeare, I think, was a really big one.
That was a fun one.
Yeah, because that I feel like there were so many cool little side things that he got to do. Like, we made like Munchkin Shakespeare. There's an expansion. There was all these little cool items he got to do. Plus, it was all Shakespeare themed, and he had an English background. And it was really neat. We have Starfinder in the queue, but do we have a Shakespeare one? Was that one of the ones?
I think we have one. Yeah,
we have Shakespeare. Let's take a look at the Shakespeare footage. I believe this is from when Rio was still here. This is one of our earlier playthroughs. These are all just clips. I'm not showing the whole videos, but if you want to check them out, they are on YouTube still. But yeah, let's show that one.
That is the very short introduction on how to play Munchkin.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot. This is a lot of fun. We should do this more often.
We should. It's always more fun to have people on this. So.
Absolutely.
Thank you all again. Again, don't forget, Shakespeare is delivering to backers now. Should be in stores later this year. We've got pre-order sheets for Shakespeare and the CCG and the links below. And don't forget the Holiday Grab Box Kickstarter. There's all kinds of Munchkin stuff going on.
And if you really love Munchkin Shakespeare, we also have plastic pawns that are coming out later this year. We've got the Kilometer, which is the combat tracker. We've got
The dice.
We've got
The
dice
demo.
with extra cards.
Yes.
Absolutely. So just go search our website for Munchkin Shakespeare because we've got a ton of stuff coming out.
Yeah, and the plastic pawns are super cool. I like these.
They really are.
A lot.
And we're doing both male pawns and female pawns, so you can put out the one that best represents you,
Fantastic.
or just swap them out.
However you see fit.
Absolutely.
Yes. So thank you again for joining us. If you missed us last week, we had Steve on for conspiracy theory, so definitely go
And
back
that
to
Kickstarter
that.
is also going on right now.
That Kickstarter is also going on right now, and Munchkin Wonderland will be next week. Thank you all.
See you guys.
So that was a quick hit. We did want to mention that Gretchen, Andrew's sister, has been in comments as well. Hi, Gretchen.
Hi, Gretchen. She popped in the comments to let us know. His family let us know the charities that they are setting things up with are the National Brain Tumor Society and Hospice Austin.
Which I'll share those on social media posts and probably make a daily illuminator.
Yeah, we'll get links to
that as
those up for those on social
But yeah,
media. Thank you for dropping in, Gretchen. And letting us know that.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And again, we absolutely sorry for your loss. We all loved Andrew, and it sucks, but we're trying to remember the good times. From what we understand, like the way Andrew is and his end of life stuff, like he wanted people to enjoy, he wanted people to enjoy games and have fun, and that's kind of how he lived his life. It feels like he was just an outgoing, cool dude. I really enjoyed working with him and being friends with him.
The Shakespeare was a fun thing, because I remember when we were setting that up and they were doing the Kickstarter, they actually got to impress him a little bit, because I believe Rhea handed here's what we want covered in the video, but we want it Shakespeare'd.
Yes.
You do Shakespeare stuff, Jimmy. You do acting. Shakespeare this.
I remember that video. Yeah, that took a while to record.
I had to write it, and someone actually caught it in the Kickstarter comments. They're like, "Wait, is this actually an iambic pentameter?" I'm like,
Good job. You did it.
A few people noticed. Andrew was one of them.
Yeah.
Of course, but not many people noticed. But I got to. He was like, "You actually pulled that off." Okay.
It was good. Yeah, that was a really fun project because we got to do that stuff. We filmed. I remember we recorded stuff on the Ides of March from Gamma or something.
Yep.
I couldn't find that video, but it was a little interview. If you might be able to find it. I think it's on YouTube somewhere. I just may have skipped it, and I ended up with the one with Rhea in it. Who also miss you, Rhea. I'm sure I wanted to get at people that aren't necessarily here, but who have worked with Andrew in the past and were friends with Andrew in the video. But it was a really fun project. I think that was I think Moops was a fun one for him. We mentioned the CCG, did a lot of cards for the CCG. One thing I wanted to mention that he worked on a lot of that I thought was really, really one of the funniest things that he ever did, that I feel like it's overlooked simply because of it wasn't a Munchkin game, is the Munchkin comic.
The Boom Comics?
The Boom Comics.
Yeah.
A few years ago we had a collaboration with Boom Comics, and we did a Munchkin comic. And I think Munchkin Comics is one of the funniest things we've ever done. And I don't know if enough people really read those. If you get a chance to check those out, I believe they're on Warehouse 23, but I'm sure you can find them at other comic retailers and stuff like that. They did some collected editions as well. I think they did 6 volumes of them. But
yeah, I think they did something like 4 to 6.
They aren't all written by him, but he had a lot of input on them. But there is stuff in there. There's backup stories that he actually wrote that are really funny too. And I think he had a blast working on that stuff. I remember when that was going on, he was always spending a lot of time working on those backup stories and putting those in. I think those are really funny. If you get a chance to check those out, he had some really, really cool, funny things in there. Plus, they came with promos that he got to design and whatnot, which are always a lot of fun. But yeah, he's yeah, he just had a ton of fun, cool. The speed at which he would come up with Munchkin jokes and stuff like that was always absurd to me. He could come up with the joke on the spot.
Really good.
It was really crazy. It's taken. I mean, now we do have a great team working on Munchkin still. I don't want to say I don't want to imply that at any point now that Andrew's not here, Munchkin's over or something like that. We have great people working on Munchkin. Devin and Will, his article will be coming out on Friday, but we brought back Will Schoonover, who's going to be working on Munchkin and other games and stuff like that.
Will was hired just before me the first time around.
Yeah.
So he's been a long time here. Worked with Andrew for a lot.
Yeah, he got to work
Devin's
with
worked with
quite a bit.
Andrew for ages on stuff, and Devin's done a lot of the writing of some sets on his own too. So
yeah,
Munchkin's in good hands.
Munchkin's in good hands, but I wanted to mention that like it's in good hands multiple.
Yeah.
Like it is taking us a lot to replace Andrew, and we're not ever going to be able to replace Andrew, but we are
pick
going
up the slack.
to pick up Andrew where Andrew left off. Kind of that's what we're trying to do at this point. Because Andrew was just a one-man Munchkin force, and not to diminish the other stuff. He's worked on all the RPG stuff. He worked on GURPS for a long time.
Someone notes that Andrew had mentioned he was really proud of the SJGeek stuff back in the day.
SJGeek,
which
yeah,
was
that's another one.
Like pre-Munchkin game that we did, but
And
he had a lot
oddly
of-
enough, we got a reprint of a SJGeek thing actually coming out pretty soon.
cool.
I think Shay Goth is getting it. Shay Goth or Shay Cthulhu? It's one. I think Shay Cthulhu
I think
actually.
Cthulhu is the
Shay
one.
Cthulhu is getting a reprint, which is crazily timed to me because we haven't had a Shay anything reprint in quite a while. But yeah, he did work on that as well. He's worked on a lot of stuff that I think a lot of people would not necessarily remember or catch other than Munchkin. But he's done, like, you look at those RPG credits especially, and you're going to see a lot of Andrew in there. But yeah, I oddly enough, I am showing a lot of Munchkin stuff, but that's most of the stuff that he's worked on since I've been here. So a lot of our video material is him with Munchkin. As like the last one was Munchkin Shakespeare. That was a Kickstarter project we did, but that is obviously has been available for a while. So anything you see in these videos, these are older videos.
Yeah.
I don't want
Just
to.
by the close shots on the vinyl background with things that were in that other room.
We're doing our best. So yeah, I just don't want to confuse anyone with any of these. This next one's also about a former Kickstarter. Let's throw the Starfinder one up because this is another project I think he had a lot of fun working on.
The role-playing game has a ton of really interesting classes and races that are options for players, and I couldn't choose, so I brought all of them. There's 7 new classes, 6 new races. They're all in Munchkin Starfinder.
Yes, it's jam-packed. It really is. Another cool thing we have with the campaign is the certificate.
Yeah. If you back at the I Want It All level, at one of the I Want It All levels, we have a certificate with spaces for signatures from Steve, from me, and from our artist Howard Taylor, who we're going to talk about in a minute. And every signature you get is worth a bonus. And if you are super lucky and somebody drops their pledge, you might sneak into one of the signed levels.
Yeah, unlike our previous Kickstarters where it was kind of an early bird thing, this one's not really early bird. You just have to, you kind of have to be there early, but we didn't lock it down. So if people drop out as the campaign goes on, like Andrew said, you can jump in and get a signed version yourself, which it's likely to happen. Actually, it happens throughout Kickstarter.
It does. We have a few every time, so this is your keep checking back on the Kickstarter page to see what new stretch goals we've hit and new things we've unlocked. But also, if you want a signed certificate, keep checking those pledge levels to see if they've opened back up.
Yeah, especially since the campaign's actually only lasting 10 days. We're already a couple days into it now.
Yeah, it's going to end next Thursday on the 2nd.
Next Thursday, yep. And we're talking about Howard Taylor. He's new. This is his first full set that he's done with us. He has done a few things in the past for us.
He's done a couple of guest cards here and there. He's best known for the Schlock Mercenary webcomic, and I think I can reveal a secret. There might be a Schlock guest appearance in Starfinder.
Oh, I didn't even know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, and he's done the Planet Mercenary RPG. He also has a really cool podcast with Mary Robinette Quall and Brandon Sanderson called Writing Excuses, where they talk about the process of actually being a professional writer.
That's awesome. Yeah, his art is really unique. We're going to be sharing a lot of preview art. We've already shared our first one today. The Aeon Guard, I believe, was today or yesterday. Mm-hmm. We'll be showing more colored samples of this art as the campaign goes on as well. So keep an eye out for that.
Yep.
Check our updates regularly, especially if you're a backer.
And you can check the Kickstarter page and see his cover right now, which shows several of the iconic heroes. It is a version of the actual Starfinder RPG cover, and everybody I've seen who's seen them side by side has been like, "This is fantastic."
It's such a good version. Starfinder has really cool, like, hyper-realistic versions of things.
Absolutely.
Howard just took it and made it into characters, and it works super well.
Sure. So, you'll see a lot of the ships from the setting. You're going to see all the classes and races. You're going to see the Skittermander. And there are Space Goblins. There are going to be promos.
Oh, yeah. I've seen some of the art. I will be sharing that if I can in the future as well. But guys, I just want to emphasize again, double check that I Want It All. We are right now, I believe it's $71. It's worth $71.
Right, and it's a pledge level of 60.
Exactly. So you're getting more than your value already. And I promise we have more stretch goals coming as we unlock stuff.
Yep.
We're actually going at a pretty good pace right now, so we're hoping to reveal some more very soon.
And if you haven't already picked up Munchkin Pathfinder, the I Want It All plus Pathfinder is $80, and that's well over $100 worth of Munchkin stuff.
Well, guys, Andrew, thank you for joining us for this.
Hunter, thanks for having me. You guys go please check out our Kickstarter page. It's just Kickstarter.com/SteveJacksonGames, right?
Yes, and we have a link in the description directly to Starfinder as well, so take a look there, wherever the description is on your particular device. And thank you so much to our supporters who have already backed the campaign. We've had a huge outpouring of support in only a couple of days. It's been amazing to watch.
It really has been. It's been a lot heartening, and the people who've been supporting it on Twitter and Facebook and Google Plus and Elo and wherever they're supporting it.
And Paizo themselves. Thank you guys for being so supportive and retweeting us and all those posts that I get to make. They've been very, very supportive. But guys, thank you for joining us.
If you have any questions about the game, we've got a discussion thread on forums.sjgames.com. You can come ask us directly what's going to be in the new game.
Absolutely. Guys, thank you again for joining us for another SJ Games Live.
Yep. I'm Andrew.
I'm Hunter. We'll see you next week.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
That was awesome. I'm going to just say, because I think on that video, when I was pulling that particular clip, I think I tried to do that outro like 3 times with the video. It's like, but wait, there's more.
Another thing.
And another thing. We got the forums. I love doing that, though. He was just full of energy about those projects. Because these were like his babies. Like, I remember working on Starfinder marketing stuff with for that Kickstarter, a lot of the Kickstarter with him. Him and Rhea and those guys, and he had a lot of fun making that set. Like I'm sure it was stressful. I don't want to say it was like all play no work, but like he was making a ton of stuff. That Starfinder campaign, like it wasn't just that we don't just try to like throw stuff out there just to see if it sticks. Like if he had something we wanted to make it because he had like enough to make multiple expansions for that. We were able to do like the cred sticks, which is a really unique thing that we haven't had a chance to do in the past. They're like metal coins, but they're specifically done like Starfinder credits, which I actually need to get see if we have any cred sticks left, which I never thought I would need, but I'm playing Starfinder now. And like that's one of the coolest accessories that I think I could have is like metal coins for that game that happen to be for,
and he always did want to like respect the source material and get into the source material. Like if you ever went in his office, like there's a shelf that's like Starfinder books. I think there's 2 shelves of Warhammer stuff from when we did the Warhammer sets.
Yeah, like he was very good about that. Like because we did Pathfinder with them in the past. He studied Pathfinder. We made a lot of Pathfinder Munchkin, and then he studied Starfinder extensively to get that. When he contacted Games Workshop for doing the 40K stuff, they sent him like every book. Like he read that stuff. Like we have people here that play Warhammer that he also got reference from. So he gets into that stuff. It's not just like slap something on a card. It was very much like it's easier when you're doing unlicensed stuff because you can make whatever you want from scratch. With this, he took all the time to like learn what he was making a card about, and then finding something that works, and then make fun of it. Yeah,
I do remember him being surprised with what he got away with Warhammer. Like he submitted several things he thought were definitely going to get shot down, but submitted them anyway.
Well, I think that's one of the things though that as people learned how he did licensed stuff, because licensed stuff isn't something we've always done. We've done some smaller licensed stuff like Conan, Axe Cop, whatnot. But these bigger licenses are a little bit newer for us, especially. But I think the people, like we're now at a point where some of these licensors, people that are licensing with us, kind of grew up playing this. Like it's a crowd that has actually played Munchkin. It's not people looking at us because like, oh, Munchkin. I mean, they might be looking at us because Munchkin's popular, but it's not just people like what's Munchkin? And
this is a popular game.
It's a popular thing. Let's put a thing on it. They're actually reaching out because Andrew's made an extremely popular game that these people have actually played a lot of the times. Like there's a lot of crossover there. So it's really cool that there's a lot of these licenses that came to us because they wanted to be not just involved with a popular game, but like Munchkin specifically. And a lot of that is because of Andrew. Like Andrew made something that people wanted to play. He made it so accessible to so many people. Like the amount of themes that we've done. A lot of people, like, I think that's kind of the double-edged sword that we get a lot of the time. Some people were like, oh man, it's another Munchkin game. What, why do you need X different versions? It's like the reason we have X different versions is because so many people are playing and they want different versions of stuff, and we can do different stuff with it. Let's do different jokes. And, there is some criticism from, but I think the people that like it just really like that, and they want new stuff. Plus it gives people that maybe wouldn't play a fantasy-themed game or a cowboy-themed game, we can do something similar, maybe in space, or, whatever the case may be. And Andrew could come up with anything for any of that. Valentine's theme set, check. Christmas theme set, got it. Like
quadruple check.
Yes, quadruple check. So we were talking about conventions and promos and stuff like that previously. one of the things that he kind of not he wasn't the only one that wanted it, but I think he really enjoyed Munchkin Tavern. Not something we get to do this year because of Gen Con and the restrictions there. We don't know if we'll be able to do it again in the future, but previously it was a really fun little project that we had on the side at Gen Con. I believe we did it at Origins as well.
Yeah, we basically take over. We work with a local restaurant or a bar or something and take over their establishment, theme their menu, set up events. That's usually where we would do our like signature, our autographs and special announcements and stuff. And Andrew loved just going over and like
chatting with people,
hanging out with people, having people show up just to hang out, talk about Munchkin, be a part of the whole thing.
Yeah, I think if you were one of the people that actually got to hang out at one of our Munchkin Taverns and get something signed, that's probably one of the cooler experiences you could have had meeting Andrew, just because it was so relaxed and so like laid back. He was able to sign and just give you a little,
it wasn't like
a picture with you.
Run through the line at the booth and get something signed. It was come and hang out.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We got to have dinner with him and hang out. I remember when I was there, I was pretty much there all night taking pictures of all the signatures, stuff like that. And he when his signing was over, he'd go hang out and we'd have dinner while we just talk about stuff in general, talk about games, which was a blast. That was another really fun one. But I didn't want to leave y'all with just sad stuff. We try to be pretty upbeat and happy about this. We all miss Andrew a lot, but I want to remember the stuff that he's actually, I want to remember the stuff he'd probably want us to remember, which is all the fun stuff he's brought to everyone, the fun times we've had. But I do have something to show, which is one of the this is an interesting one. It's one of I think it's going to be one of the last projects that Andrew's got stuff in. But also, it's one of the ones he's talked about one of the longest. I think this has been a game that at least me and him have talked about for like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
And it's Munchkin Babies. I've actually teased this on Instagram before Andrew's passing, and other people have worked on this too. And Lane had a lot of stuff during the development of this. Who worked on Munchkin Kaiju as well for Munchkin Apocalypse. We just did an unboxing of that. And I don't want this to be like an ad. We're not going to do an unboxing or anything like that. But I did want to let people know that there's another Andrew. There's more Andrew Munchkin coming. And it's a really cool set. It's a core set, so it's a full game. I have cards in here, but this is like a pre-production thing. We'll do an unboxing of it when it gets a little bit closer. But you got very pinks and blues. It's Katie Cook doing the art,
which works for the baby.
Which is wonderful. Yeah, no, it's awesome. I'm really excited. Because again, this is something that Andrew has pitched around for a while, and it made total sense. It just took it a while to get to get made. It was one of those ones you had to kind of fit in between all the other projects. We had a Warhammer stuff which took a lot of time, and all the other sets that took a lot of time. But yeah, I'm really excited. We still have some stuff from Andrew getting that's going to be coming out. And I'm sure there's a lot of projects. Obviously, he's had his hands in Car Wars. He was in there for our play tests and stuff. At times, like there's been a lot of stuff that he's worked on that's probably going to have some elements. There's always going to and obviously anything in the future. He laid the groundwork for what Munchkin is.
A lot of the Munchkin.
So obviously,
still going to have a lot of that in there.
Yeah, everything that
he developed a lot of the feel.
It's like the feel and like the standards and practices. So anything that we do going forward, Munchkin related, is obviously going to have. It's going to be Andrew's work through that lens.
Right.
So like he's extremely influential and all that stuff. But it's cool to have something that this came from his mind. So I'm really excited about that. And I wanted people to know that this existed because I've teased it a little bit and we've had some cards that have been sent my way. So. So yeah, guys, that's I don't know. Did you have anything else you want to mention? Some other stories or anything like that?
No, I think that about covers. We've covered a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and just like I said, guys, it sucks, but it's nice to remember the good times and
there were a lot of them.
And yeah, there's a ton of them. Still not enough somehow, but it's tough losing not just a coworker but a friend, But as much as I miss Andrew, I'm really happy, but sorry. Oh boy. Really happy for the time I got to spend with him.
Yeah. No, he was a fantastic guy. Always there, always had a good word for everybody, always was welcoming for everything. Any of you that got to meet him at cons, that. Like, you walk up, you'd say hi. He'd never seen you before, and you'd sit down at a table and he'd treat you like he was your best friend, like he hadn't seen you in ages, and you're just catching up. So, it was always, that's how Andrew was pretty much all the time. Like if you met him at a con, that's the Andrew we got to see for the most part, most of the time too. Is just super welcoming. A lot of you in chat are running through all your experiences with him, and yeah, he's a great guy where he's going to be missed, but he definitely wants the kind of person that wants the celebration rather than the remorse.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure.
So that's why we did this stream today, was to cover a lot of that stuff and get those good memories that we have and that you guys have, that you're all going through and chat. So go through if you want to see some more stuff. He's been in a lot of our videos, especially our convention videos, so go check those out. And go play some Munchkin this weekend.
Yeah, and we'll go through those comments, of course. I'm always interested to see what you guys said. I got to go through all the ones on the posts over the weekend. They were really touching. And thank you, Gretchen, for sharing those charities. I'll definitely be sharing those on social media for anyone that didn't have a chance to donate or wants to take a look at that.
Yeah,
I'll share links to that, and I'll do a daily Illuminator blog.
We'll get some links on him. If you missed him earlier, his family is setting up some stuff with the National Brain Tumor Society and Hospice Austin as far as charities to donate to. If you want to do something in memoriam, if you feel need to do something in memoriam for Andrew, but we'll get some information up on that. I think that's what we got. Thank you for dropping in, folks.
Thanks for stopping by while we remember Andrew. We love you, Andrew. And we'll see you next time on SJGames Live.
Take care, folks.